Hi, Matt. How are you tonight?
Hello, Kate. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much for making the time to join us. I know everyone's really busy right now, not that much time left in the campaign season. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are here with Matt Harper, who is running for the 3rd Senate District, which again includes East Hartford, East Windsor, Ellington, and South Windsor. And again, thank you, Matt, for joining us and making the time to speak to everybody in our membership, especially the people that live in your district. So what made you decide to run, Matt?
Well, my wife and I have lived in Connecticut for just under 20 years. We've raised our family here. It's all our kids know. Connecticut is where we've chosen to put down deep roots. We have sweat and heart equity in Connecticut. It's our home. I believe when elected officials continually make decisions that negatively impact my family, my state, and my home, it's impossible for me to stand by and do nothing. Over the last 20 years, we all know one-party rule in Connecticut has left us with a weak economy, businesses leaving the state, ever-increasing taxes, higher energy rates, more crime, less access to health care, weakened parental rights. I could go on, and it's all because of a legislature that is dominated by a radical political agenda that is out of touch with mainstream citizens on both sides of the political aisle, might I add. I just think it's time for positive change in Connecticut, and that's why I'm really honored to run for state senate. I'd love to accomplish just that.
How's your campaign going, Matt?
It's going very well. We have tremendous momentum at just the right time heading into the home stretch. I meet many people, especially parents who are longtime Democrats, who are voting differently this year for the first time because enough is enough.
Wow. Well, that's very interesting to hear. We definitely have everyone from different places here. We have unaffiliated, independents, Republicans, and Democrats, again, opposed to medical mandates. So what is your position on the mask mandates? Let's start with that.
Mask mandates. Well, I believe the mask mandates, especially since they didn't come from the legislature, were completely unconstitutional. I believe the choice of masking for adults and children should be a decision left to individuals for themselves and for their children. To me, the freedom of conscience in making decisions for ourselves is the underlying issue at stake. The governor's mandates on masking, like I said, were unconstitutional, never should have been instituted. Even during the beginning of the pandemic, any mandate should have been decided by the legislature, not by executive order if there was going to be a mandate. But now that the pandemic is for the most part behind us, the public in general, I believe, has been educated enough in combating viral infections to make their own decisions on how to protect themselves and their families.
Well, that sounds really great. I really like your position. I think that you're very open-minded to everything, and you have a really positive attitude and outlook on everything, which I really like. How do you feel about the COVID-19 vaccine being mandated in Connecticut? It sounds like, you don't support the constitutionality of it. What is your position?
I believe medical mandates, especially those dictated by executive order and not passed by the legislature, are unconstitutional and are a violation of liberty, period.
So the CDC recently just, passed basically a 15-0 vote. So they all voted yes to add the COVID-19 vaccine to the recommended childhood immunization schedule. And this doesn't add it to any state in particular, but every state can use that as a guideline and a resource to go ahead and push that. What is your position on a COVID-19 vaccine mandate in education for Connecticut?
I don't like to see it. I understand that vaccines currently required had a much longer runway for being tested and being proven, and for people to really understand what the health risks were involved. We just haven't had that opportunity with this vaccine. I am not comfortable adding it to the list.
It's really great to hear. This is new, and we haven't really talked about it with many candidates, so I appreciate your transparency on that. And also, I did formally ask the CT GOP and the CT Dems to pledged that they would not introduce a bill to mandate the COVID vaccine for K through 12 education. And I did receive a pledge. I just want to let everyone here know from the CTGOP in 43 seconds from when I sent the request. And I have not yet received any pledge from the CT Dems account, unfortunately. So I just wanted to make that clear to all of our voters in here. Again, we have people from every party. So could you tell us just a little bit about your experience in the past and how it's helped you form your position on medical mandates?
My experience over 16 years as a pastor in the East Hartford, South Windsor community really reinforced for me the importance of that foundational principle of freedom of conscience in making decisions. God granted humans the freedom to make their own decisions, good and bad. And in the same way, a just society will grant its citizens the freedom to make decisions according to their own conscience, provided those decisions, don't infringe on the fundamental rights of others. While earning my master's degree in public administration, which concentrated in health services, this same principle was really solidified in me about 10 years ago when I finished that degree. I believe when it comes to medical mandates, it is impossible to mandate public health policy to protect one group in a community without violating fundamental rights of other members of that same community. The most equitable course is for governmental leaders to communicate, and I would add, without personal bias or political agenda, just the facts about potential health risks, period. And then let individual members of the community make their own decisions about how to manage those risks for themselves and their families. To me, that's the most just way forward.
Absolutely. I understand why you have such a positive vibe because you're a pastor. So that makes perfect sense. And it's really nice to see that there is a pastor candidate running, I might add. So we did lose our religious exemption in 2021. Could you tell us your thoughts on that legislation that passed?
Yeah, I support repealing the removal of the religious exemption. I believe religious, medical, and non-medical vaccination exemptions should be granted to those who request. Again, based on that foundational principle of freedom of conscience for making personal and family health care decisions.
It sure would have been nice to have you in the Senate when that bill was going through, sir.
I would love to have been
there. So you're obviously a very strong candidate, I think. How do you plan to appeal to moderate and independent voters in those areas that you're running in?
Such a good question. I'm not an extremist. I believe the best ideas should win. And it shouldn't matter what side they come from. If it's the best idea, then we should go with it, because that means we have the community first, not just party agenda. And I'm willing to work with those who embrace the same classic American values I hold for freedom, family, and community. Legislatively, I believe the best thing government can do is make laws that give us the liberty to make choices we know are best for ourselves and for our families, and then stay out of the way. And I believe government does this best when it stays away from pushing policies that are based on radical ideology, and instead focus on solving issues that everyday people face, like lowering our taxes, making our streets safer, create better access to healthcare, these kinds of things that normal everyday people face. When legislation focuses on solving kitchen table issues instead of forcing out-of-touch political narratives into law, I just believe government works better. I believe the community is more unified because these are things we can all agree on. And the dirty little secret is everyone prospers more when government just sticks to the common sense kitchen table issues. We all do better. All ships rise with that tide. That's the legislative influence I'd love to bring to agenda. Nothing on the edges, nothing extreme, just meat and potatoes, classic American values, middle of the road, unifying policies that actually help the whole community.
Yes, and I'm not asking you to comment on this, but I just wanted to make the comment that your opponent is the incumbent, and he medical degree against our organization, and he knows best, and it's been very tumultuous. He has met with us before, but now he refuses to meet with us, and he's labeled us a far right organization, and it's unfortunate. We've had many candidates come on and be transparent with our membership. We're at 10,000 people, in this Facebook group right now. And it's just, again, it's really nice to see that you are willing to come on here and speak with everybody. So thank you again for taking the time tonight. So I know you said your campaign's going well. How can our membership support you in these areas?
First, I just want to say, I know people don't have to just give their vote away to anybody. So it would be an honor to earn their votes. And if my message resonates with you, all I can ask is please consider voting for me on election day. Second, if you do support me as a candidate, please tell your friends and neighbors. Your word of mouth recommendation is worth far more than any amount of advertising the campaign could buy. And third, if you're able, volunteer to help, whether it's writing an endorsement editorial in the local newspaper, door knocking with me, handing out flyers with me at an event, or just putting up a lawn sign. We've got volunteer opportunities to fit everyone's interest level and ability, and we would love to make you part of the team.
Thank you so much again for taking the time. So what are your websites, or what's the best way for our membership to reach you?
MattHarper4CT.com.
Easy enough. So MattHarper4CT.com. And then can we just message you through Facebook if we wanted to sign up to volunteer, or do you recommend people go through your site to do that?
Whatever's easiest for people. I respond to people almost daily through Facebook messaging. People call my phone number and they email the email. You can find my phone number, contact information, email, all of that on the website and on the campaign Facebook page. And just to say, if you dial that phone number, it rings in my pocket. You'll get me. I may not be able to answer that minute, but please leave a message and I will get back to you. Same thing with the campaign email. It goes to my inbox as well. So I will see it. And I eagerly look forward to hearing from people. They reach out every day.
That's awesome. It's really good to hear. So again, Matt is running in Senate District 3, which is East Hartford, East Windsor, Ellington, and South Windsor. So if you like Matt's position on medical mandates, please get behind him. We have 2 weeks left before elections. And the best thing he said that we could do is spread the word, spread the word that he's running, his position on mandates. I will have this video posted to our announcement section. If you want to send people there, tag them in the video comments so they can hear where he stands. It's all about transparency, guys, and we really need to get people to the polls, especially in these areas. So again, this is East Hartford, East Windsor, Ellington, and South Windsor. So Matt, is there anything else you'd like to say to our membership tonight?
Just that I am so proud to be identified with you, every one of you, who you are, what you fight for. When I see the way that you guys dive into the thick of it, it motivates me. I can't tell you how helpful that is. Campaigning is hard work, but I often wonder if the work you guys are doing, this grassroots level work, is even harder at times. And I'm just glad to know that I'm on a team with people like you fighting for causes that truly matter. Please keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. We are really, really pushing hard for you guys to get up there to Hartford. It'd be so much easier to work with you guys than the people that are currently up there, and I cannot stress that enough. I think a really big piece of the puzzle for our membership is understanding that we have 36 senators in Connecticut and 151 House representatives. So we have 3 branches of government. We have our own House in Connecticut, our own Senate, and then we have the governor. And they are all voting on laws. Laws are coming out of committees in Hartford, and then they go to the House, they go to the Senate, and they go to the governor, again, to become laws. So this is somebody that's going to be voting on those laws, like mandates, possibly adding COVID-19 to the childhood immunization schedule. Super important things. So again, even if you're not from Senate District 3 and you like what you heard tonight, again, Matt is a pastor. If you're a religious person, maybe get behind him. That really made me happy to hear. We didn't have any religious people in the legislature when the religious exemption was removed. And I think having somebody of faith would have been really nice to hear your point of view, as far as the vote goes. So again, his vote will matter for all of us. So if you like what you heard, please go on his website, help him volunteer, put a sign up, and most importantly, spread the word about his name that he's running. Again, thank you so much for taking the time, Matt. Have a great night.
Thank you, Kate, for all you do.